Hey everyone, I made a vectorizing video about a year ago, this one right here, and now that it's 2025, I thought I'd do it again to see how well AI has improved. But this time I'm going to do it with a twist. So I'm going to do one that's a free vectorizing tool, but then compare it to others in tools that you may already have, like Kiddo and Canva and Vexels and all of those other ones. So I'm going to show you how well it does in this video. But before then, I want to explain what vectorizing is and when would you use vectorizing. So if we think about what's needed for a print-on-demand product, we need a transparent PNG that's the size of 4500 by 5400 or around that size. So something a little bigger. But what AI usually gives us is 1024 by 1024. So we're going to have to take that 1024 size and make it bigger to fit the 4500 by 5400. Now there's two ways to do that. The first way is to upscale it, and that's adding pixels to your design so that you have not 1024, but now you have 4500, and it has to look like the same quality, right? You can't just stretch your pixels, you have to add pixels to it. That's called upscaling. The next thing you could do is vectorize your design. So that is changing your pixels, which it usually comes in a JPEG, and changing that into this mathematical equation with nice clean strokes and lines and everything. That's called vectorizing, changing it from a raster to a vector. So when should you use vectorizing and when should you use upscaling? I have this chart right here, so let's go over it. So do you need to edit your AI art or change colors? If the answer is yes, you most likely want to vectorize that, because trying to change colors on an upscaled on a raster is really hard to do. Well, you can, but it's a lot tougher to do than a vector. Is your design very detailed? Well, if it's very detailed, you may not want to vectorize it, because those kind of things get really tricky, and I'm going to show you an example of what I mean there. But usually you want to vectorize things that are a lot more simple, clean lines already there, clean colors and everything. So those like my kawaii designs, like this one right here, is a great candidate for vectorizing. And lastly, do you actually know how to work with vectors? Do you have an app like Affinity Designer, Illustrator, or anything like that? And if you do, you might want to work in vectors. If not, then you may want to just upscale and do it knock out the background and you're done. Okay, so here I am in Affinity Designer just to show you kind of visually what I mean. So Affinity Designer is like Illustrator, where it's vectors. So I can come in here and I converted this to vectors. You can see lines and shapes and things where I can come in here and easily change the color. Now it didn't start off that way. So this is the design here from ChatGPT. It comes in as a JPEG. You can see I can't click on it. If I scroll in, you can actually see the pixels. See that right there? So that's the jaggedy pixels. Now if you blew that up to bigger and you stretched it, then you would see the pixelation, which is why you would want to upscale it and add more pixels so that it kind of straightens out and it's nice and clean. So luckily this is a great candidate for vectorizing. I vectorized this in the app, so I traced over this with my pen tool here and did it, and you can see it's really clean. Like if I scroll in, there's no artifacts or stuff that we'll see when we try and vectorize with other tools with AI. But this is what I'm going for. This is kind of the standard I'm looking for. It should by now in 2025 be able to vectorize something like this clean. When I scroll in here, I'm not seeing like weird colors and stuff, and I think we'll see that today in some of them. So there are several reasons why you might want to vectorize and do something like this. So here are the different reasons. For one, scalability, right? I can take this design and I can blow it up as big as I need to, and it still will be nice and clean. A nice clean lines still here. Even if I made this twice as big or twice as small, like it's scalable because it's a mathematical line. It doesn't pixelate. The second thing is it makes coloring easy. So if I come in here and I want to change this color, I can literally do that super easy. Whereas if you had a raster, you would have to come in here, maybe eyedrop or maybe do some other things. It just takes a little more effort to color things when it's not a vector. The next thing is adding a white outline is super easy. So all I had to do was copy all of this, and there is an outline feature in most vector programs that you can just outline it, and white, easy to do. So I can do both on a black t-shirt or a white t-shirt, and it still works and makes it really easy to make it work on both. And the last thing is removing the background makes it super easy. Like, because this is a vector, I can just move that. So those are all the different reasons why you may want to vectorize. It's very powerful and can do all these things once you get it to this state. One of the cons, like I said, is that it doesn't do well with designs that have a lot of detail. And so I try to stay away from things like this where there's so much detail that it's not going to look the same. If I tried to vectorize this, it won't look exactly the same as when I vectorize this, because this is a lot easier to do than this. And in fact, if I tried to do this by hand as well, it would take me a lot longer to do that. So think about that. What would take you easy to do by hand versus something that might take days to do here as a vector. So pros and cons, but I think there's a lot of pros for going vectorizing. All right, the first app that we're gonna test is Vectorzercom. Now this is totally free. It's an app online, and you can see it converts PNG files, which is the raster file, to SVG file, which is a vector file. And all I have to do is drag it in. We're gonna use the same ones for all of these so that we can have a base and see, and it's gonna be the one that I did, the two tacos. So I'm gonna drag it in here from ChatGPT. You can see it doesn't take that long, and it's gonna show us what it looks like. And then I can just download it. Boom, it's that easy. So let's take a look at what this looks like in Affinity Designer and see how it compares to the one I did by hand. All right, and so I'm back here on Affinity Designer. This is the one I did by hand, and this is the one that Vectorizer.com did. So we're gonna scroll in and see how close can we get here. So not bad, but you can notice right here, it's kind of has a point on some of these circles. You can see right there. Not bad when you scroll back, so I don't mind that. Here you can see kind of this, if I scroll real in, you can see there's some of these artifacts here where it's kind of, if I click on it, see that? It's kind of a weird thing that it does. But when you scroll back, you don't see it too much, but it's something I don't like. I wish it was a lot clearer. Let's see. Again, you can see it here. If we scroll in, not very rounded, which is mine's rounded, and this kind of comes to a point. So it depends how fine you want your designs to be. Oh, here's another rough one here. You can see kind of took that color. So again, that's Vectorizer.com. If I came in here and I changed the color a little bit on mine to a brown instead of a more black, but you can see mine's a little more rounded. See how round that is? I should have fixed this, but this is easy. I can come in here, and because it's a point, I can make it rounder like that. And look at my eyes here, a lot more round. So I'm being very picky, getting up real close, which this isn't bad. This still could work on a t-shirt, but I'm looking for something even better than this, and hopefully we can find it with some of the apps that we're doing. So before I get into any of the apps like Kiddo and Canva, I wanted to mention this Vectorizer.ai. I think it's still something a lot of people use when they vectorize, but it's not free. And so I didn't want to put it as one of the free versions, but I did want to show you how well it does by showing you a preview of it. So I'm going to drag in my design here, and you can see it uploads, it processes, and we can kind of zoom in on this one just here, not on my Affinity Designer file. But when we do, check it out, like it traced it. It's showing Vectorizer versus the pixel. So look how clean it is. This was the pixels, but when I come in, it just looks amazing on here. Let's do the eye here, like, cause we did. Look at that. It's a lot more round than the other one. Just really, really good. So one of the best, I would say, premium versions of vectorizing. But when I hit download and I hit download again, you're going to see it's $10 a month, which if you vectorize a lot, that's a great deal. Or you can pay per credit, or 50 credits at 2 cents or whatever this is. You can pay per credit. if you don't want to do per month. But it is not free, but is really, really good, as good as it gets as far as vectorizing. All right, I'm here in Kittl, and if you didn't know, Kittl has a vectorizer. So if you already are paying for Kittl, this will be a free thing for you if you're on one of the plans, the Pro plan or Expert plan. I'm gonna just drag in my ChatGPT thing here, and it should place it. And then I should be able to, I'm gonna scale it up here, not scale it up, just make it bigger. I'm not upscaling or anything, but it's because it's gonna be a vector here. And I'm gonna vectorize this, you can see right here on the right, Vectorize, and I'm just gonna do all 16 colors, I think that's the best thing, and vectorize this image. Now I should be able to zoom in here and you can see the difference. I'm also gonna bring it in as an SVG to my Affinity Designer file with all of them as we compare all of these, but just to give a quick look, you can see, not bad. There is some, like it's not as smooth as Vectorizer, but it's not as pointy as the other one here. So it's also giving you kind of a highlight of what it was before and what it is now, kind of thing, as I scroll over. But you can see some little jagged points, some jagged points here. So as you scroll back, not so bad. I think it's still pretty good on here. And again, some jagged points. And that's what AI has a struggle with. But this is why I like doing it on some of these kawaii art, because if you scroll back, you really can't see those jagged points anyway. And so the vectorizing something like this still looks pretty good on here. So this is a good option if you already have Kittl and need to vectorize something like this. So now I'm here on Canva. Now Canva itself doesn't have a vectorizing app, but they have apps that do vectorizing. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm gonna bring in my ChatGPT thing right here, and I'm gonna go to apps, and you can come in here and search Vectorize like that. And there's a bunch of them here. The one I like here is Vector Studio, and it's free. It's not one of those paid apps. So I'm gonna do that, and you can see vectorize with colors. Yes, absolutely. And I'm gonna vectorize it. Now it's gonna take a little while, but we're gonna see how well this does here. I may have to download it to show you, and let's see. Take not too long. It doesn't take too long here. So once it's done, you have to add it to the design here. So I'm going to do that. You can see there's two. So this is the vectorized one. This is the original. So I'm going to pull this here, and then I'm going to have to do share, download. This is a premium thing, a pro thing that you can save it as a SVG now, and then I'm going to download that, and this will be the one that I'll test with Canva. All right, the next app I want to show you, if you have it, is Vexels. So Vexels has their own design tools right here. You can see designer is where I'm going to go. It doesn't say Vectorize here, but it's embedded in there, so you might have missed it if you didn't know about this. So designer here, and I'm going to open up a file. Well, I'm just going to do my own here, and I'm going to upload, and you'll notice that I uploaded a bunch already. There it is. This one, and I'm gonna vectorize this. So I'm just gonna use 5 credits here and vectorize it, and I'm gonna use all the colors like I did with Kittl and hit vectorize image. Now this does take credits, so you are kind of limited to how many credits you have or tokens you have, but let's see how well it does. I think I can zoom in and click on things. No, I think I have to, it's like the Canva one, I have to kind of come in here and download it and then bring it into Affinity Designer. So I'm going to do that. Make sure you click SVG format. Again, this is the premium one. This isn't for free. But if you have Vexels, it is free because you already paid for it. I'm going to do all of these and hit download. And we're going to compare Vexels to Canva to Kittl. And we're gonna a couple more, and I'll show you how they compare. So we're here on Creative Fabrica, and this is one that you may not know you already had. If you already are paying for Creative Fabrica for all these different things, you may not know that you also have a vectorizer. So it's in Studio. So I'm gonna go Studio, come down here, AI Tools, or other tools in their vectorized designs. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to drag in my tacos in here, and it's going to pull it up. You can see it's right there. Working on your image, it's nearly ready. Boom, and it shows you the original and the studio one. And then I can just download this vector right here. So I'm gonna also download this and see how well it does against the others. So click that, and boom, it already knows to save it as a SVG. You don't have to tell it to do that. So one more that you may not know that you had, and that is Recraft. So here's Recraft. I'm gonna go in here and I'll just open a new project like that. And I'm gonna drag in the tacos here. I'll make a frame and then drag in the tacos. Is that how we do it? Oh, here we go. It does it on its own frame. Good. And then there is a vectorizer here. So it's up here at the top, Vectorize. So I'm just gonna do that. And you can see it's vectorizing here. So I didn't know this was here in Recraft. Somebody, when I asked about Vectorizing, somebody said, I use Recraft. I'm like, what? I had no idea. So you can see all the colors it's using and everything. And I'm gonna export this as an SVG, and I'm gonna see how well Recraft did against all of these. So here are the ones we're gonna test: Recraft, Creative Fabrica, that's still Creative Fabrica, Vexels, Canva, an app inside of Canva, Kittle, and remember the Vectorizer.com that I had in the beginning. So I'm going to pull them all up. We're going to compare them side by side in Affinity Designer and see which one gets the closest to what I did. All right, so it took some time, but I'm here back on Affinity Designer, and I added all the ones that we did on here. So I'm going to zoom in here. Remember, this is the one I did by hand. This is the one that Vectorizer did, which did a pretty good job, except for when we come into here, it's not smooth, right? It came to points. So let's see how well some of these other ones did. This is Kittle. And what I don't like is there's some shading here, which wasn't on the original. And there's some little points here. Again, you can't really see it until you zoom right in, and so it may not be that bad when you put it on a t-shirt, but I think it could do a slightly better job on that, but did pretty good. Like from here, you can't really tell that it did anything. This is Canva. Oh, you can really tell. I don't have to zoom in, but you can see it did a lot of these artifacts. And this is what I used to do like a year ago when I did a lot of the tests. Like AI has come a long way, except for this one right here. You can see Kittle came a long way from what it used to, a lot of AI stuff used to do, which was this. Like it didn't really handle, it did so many points, it didn't smooth it out. And so I would not use this one for t-shirts unless you actually like this kind of texturized style, but you can see not smooth at all. So many points, it doesn't know to smooth it out. Here is Vexels. Wow, really, really clean, smooth. I don't have any complaints on this one. Round, really round, even the eyes. Yeah, I think so far this is the best one that we've seen. Vexels has done a great job as far as vectorizing this particular one. Of course, I didn't do a big test over all of them, but so far for the tacos in this particular style of kawaii style, I think it did a great job. So that's my leader right now, whoops, of all these three. This is Creative Fabrica. You can see now it's not as smooth as we saw. Like, look at the eyes here. Like a more polygon kind of looking thing. I think Vexels did a better job. I think Kittle did a better job than this one. So it's kind of pushed down here, and you can see there as well. So this was what Creative Fabrica did an okay job. I'll give this a C. It didn't do all those crazy, like when we looked at this one. It didn't do that, but it also wasn't as smooth as this. Look at how smooth that is on the eye. That's as good as I would do. All right, so that was Creative Fabrica. Recraft. Let's see how good Recraft is. It's pretty good. I still think, like, you can still see a slight point there Getting nitpicky now, but this one's pretty good. I think out of the two, I still think Vexels did a better job. Let's look at the eye. Yeah, so you can see there's a slight point there, but I think this is like right under Vexels. So go Vexels, Recraft, probably Kittle on here, Vectorizer. Yeah, no, that's under Kittle. So if I had to do it, let's see, Vexels first, then Recraft, number 2, then Kittle, move Canva down all the way down here, by hand, of course, but this is pretty much similar to me by hand here. And I'll do Recraft here, Kittle next, Creative Fabrica. So I definitely think Canva is the lowest one with that. So we'll put them here, and it's a toss-up between these two. So let's see. I'm looking at the eye. Oh yeah, this is below. Okay, Creative Fabrica, Vectorzercom. So there you go. If you have any of these, I would use, if you have Vexels, I would use Vexels. If you have Recraft, use Recraft. If you have Kittle, Kittle's still pretty good. Like, look at that. If even right here, you can't really tell. Well, there's some of that artifacts there, but it's still pretty good with the eyes. This one you can obviously see a point there, and then look at that in here with the mouth. So that's not the best. That's Vectorizer, and then Creative Fabrica. Is Creative Fabrica? Well, oh, the polygon looking. So I'm trying to get rid of, not do the polygon thing. So you can kind of see how it's gone here. So this is my test. Yeah, I think if you have Vexels or want to get Vexels just for vectorizing, it does a lot more than that. It has all the graphics and everything like that, but it does really, so impressed with Vexels and how it does the kawaii art from ChatGPT. So there you go. Hopefully this video is really helpful for you to see like the different levels of vectorizing, why you need it, why it's helpful, and like the quality, how it's come. It's come a long way since last year when I did that video. If you want to see that video and kind of take a look at it, I'll put that video right here of the vectorizing from last year in 2024. You can see how far it's come and how we have it integrated now into a lot of these apps that you may already own. Thanks again for watching, and as always guys, keep creating and keep learning. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.